Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. Joe Rogan is no longer buying all of the whistleblowers that you've seen on his show who are talking about UAPs and whatnot. He's not buying it anymore, and he goes straight to the source, which is Elon Musk. I'm going to bring you two clips. The one where he reveals he doesn't believe any of the whistleblowers that you've seen on his show so far. And then I'm going to get to the clip where he actually confronts Elon Musk about the whole thing. Elon Musk, his response is very much what you think it would be. But let's start with this clip, then I'll jump over to the other one.
Or depression or whatever, the stuff with telepathy, I mean, channeling, whatever it is, like all these things, especially TikTok, you're like, holy cow, this is so.
I'm glad you brought the UAP thing up. I hate to interrupt you, but because I think a lot of what we're hearing is nonsense.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of what is being shared, especially publicly, like there's too many voices that I think are either intelligence assets or are disinformation experts that are doing it on purpose. And that there's too much of, the same feeling that I get, like when I said I met my friend's ex-girlfriend, I was like, oh, get out now.
Yeah.
I have that feeling about the UAP thing. When I hear people talking, nothing seems real to me.
Yeah.
When I talk to people about it, there's not one, even when people tell me their own personal experiences, I believe them. It does not register as real.
That's so interesting.
Something registers as being nonsense. There's something, maybe not nonsense, but maybe way weirder than what they're explaining it like non-physical interaction that they are reinterpreting as like physical interaction.
Yeah.
That there's some disconnect between their work. Like if someone tells me an experience that they had, like here's a good example. My friend Steve told me a harrowing experience of them being attacked by a brown bear in Alaska. And when he tells you this story, first of all, I know it's real because I know multiple people who were there. They were all there. No one got hurt. It was very fortunate, but they got charged by a grizzly who ran through their tent. One of my friends was on its back.
Oh my gosh,
for like 10 yards.
Oh,
like it literally plowed through the people, and he wound up like riding its back for like 10 yards before he fell off.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like, it can cover 10 yards in a second,
Yeah.
right? And the whole thing was just insane chaos. And the way he describes how your reptilian brain completely takes the fear is so overwhelming and different than anything you've ever experienced before. I know it happened.
Yeah.
When he's telling me this, I know it happened.
Yeah.
When these people are telling me about talking to aliens and all that, I'm not getting nothing out of them. I'm not getting nothing. I'm getting a flat piece of paper.
Yeah, there's no fear. There's no
I
charge.
don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just don't get anything from their story.
So
I hear it. It's interesting. But I don't get anything that lights any bells. There's no bulbs go off with me. I just sit there and go, wow. Okay, so what were you thinking? And I'm asking them questions, but I'm not getting nothing.
Yeah. That's
And so that leaves me, because I know that for sure the government has technology that they do not want the general public to be aware of for reasons of national security or whatever it is. Or, money has been pushed through to finance things and they lied to Congress and they have to keep lying. Whatever the reason is, that's real. There's most certainly black ops programs that the general public is not aware of. That's always going to be the case. If you have those, what better way to hide them than in plain sight and with a bunch of people that are air quote whistleblowers that go out and tell everybody about all these experiences. They're not of this earth. And that's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I was the government and I wanted to be super sneaky, I would have a bunch of my like really clever agents go and whistleblow. Tell some stories. Talk about people that have been abducted. Talk about all these different things.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's real experiences.
Man, very, very interesting. And I got to be honest, if you guys are watchers of the show, I'm very happy to hear about this. I have avidly not liked when Joe has these guys on who claim that they work for this military organization, company, this, that, but then also they're whistleblowers. But then also they still work. It's like, none of them have the whole Edward Snowden storyline where it's like, I am gone. I can't be over there. I'm just telling you what I know. No. It's all guys who are still working. You're still punching in the clock. Like, what? No, I don't believe that for a second. Let's jump over to Elon Musk. I'm pulling it up right now. You can trust me. It's coming up right now, and he confronts Elon Musk about this whole thing. Let's jump into it. Unmute that bad boy.
Yeah. The other thing they're going to talk about is UAPs. They're going to release all the UAP information. So you're the guy to ask about this. What if any possibility is there that there is some sort of advanced propulsion system technology that's being worked on in secret? And that they're trying to cover this up with this talk of aliens and alien tech and not of this world. And is it possible that there's some sort of very secret program that's going on in cahoots with some defense contractors that are developing advanced propulsion systems that they're using for these drones?
I mean, SpaceX, my company SpaceX has the most advanced rocket technology in the world. I think I'd know.
Right.
And to the best of my knowledge, there is not any magic. There's not like some super advanced propulsion technology.
There have been people who have theorized different gravity drives and different things. Is there anything that's ever gotten past the theoretical stage?
No.
Nothing.
Well, there's nothing even that I'm aware of that works in theory. It's not like I would like this to exist, to be clear. I would like this to exist. And I have from a security clearance standpoint, I have top secret. I have equivalent of like an all access pass from a security clearance standpoint. So, I don't think they're hiding it from me. Basically, I don't think they could,
unless it's completely in these weapons manufacturing corporations.
I mean, I know these weapons manufacturing companies, like Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop. I mean, yeah, they do some interesting things, but they do not have. There's no breakthrough that they have.
So
I'm confident they do not have a breakthrough.
When you hear people
like, why don't they just compete with SpaceX and make a better rocket? In which case, they can make. Why are they holding back on making a lot of money from beating SpaceX with better rockets?
My thought was that what if it's just a drone and you can't have a biological entity inside of it because it just bursts from the fucking speed that it's moving at? That a human couldn't tolerate the amount of force. So they're just drones.
I don't think so.
So what do you think people like Ryan Graves and Commander David Fravor...
I want cool things to exist.
Right.
Do I want UFOs to exist? Yes, I want UFOs to exist because that would be really interesting.
Of course, everybody does.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
It's a more boring world where UFOs don't exist, or like flying, like advanced propulsion stuff doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, that's more boring. It'd be more interesting if it did exist. I'd like it to exist. I hope we find something, but I have not seen SpaceX launches 90% of all satellite mass to orbit. So if you take all of Earth's rocket launches, my company has a 90% market share of Earth. China does about 5%, and the rest of the world does, including the Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop, and everyone, does 5%. So why wouldn't they use this to defeat SpaceX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Why would they hold back?
No, listen, that's why I asked you. It would make sense. What do you think that these people are seeing?
We're launching a rocket every 2 days.
But what do you think these people are seeing? When you have reliable people like Commander David Fravor, who had that infamous Tic Tac experience off the coast of San Diego, where they got this thing on video, they tracked it going 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 feet in like a second.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they also have video evidence of this thing accelerating at a great speed, eyewitness accounts from two different jets.
Sure. Does anyone have a high-res video or photo of this thing?
Well, there's a video of this thing where they're locked onto it, and then it takes off. It shoots off.
Is it
out of the
high-res?
frame. No, it's like whatever the systems they used on fighter jets in 2004. Essentially like Windows 95.
I mean, there's like somebody did a curve of like the resolution of UFOs and the resolution of cameras. The UFO resolution has stayed flat,
Right.
despite megapixels in cameras going like, super high.
Well, according to Christopher Mellon,
Why are they still blurry?
Christopher Mellon, who worked in the State Department, said that they have high-resolution photos and videos of these things, and that's all that he's seen. It's all locked away. Whenever people say that to me, I'm like, don't even tell me that then. Don't, unless you have...
Just leak it, for God's sake.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Like, let it slip.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple photos. They're grainy. There's not one thing that I've ever looked at and go, holy fuck, that's it.
Look,
that's what I've been looking for.
You could ask our Grok AI right now to create a high-res image of an alien spacecraft, over Austin.
Yeah.
And it's going to do a great job.
Yeah.
So why do we not have at least that?
Right. Yeah, but I want to believe. That's the problem. My brain starts going, oh, come on. This is no fun. I want it to be real. I want there to be at least be some advanced propulsion system. If not, like, what are all these people seeing? Like, what is happening if we're not being occasionally visited by things that are smart enough to hide?
We might be. I just said these aliens are very subtle.
Yeah, you keep saying that. It's a good line.
I mean,
it's a solid line because it's pretty accurate.
I just want to see some high-res video of aliens.
Look, how are they just evading all the cameras? If you think about that, and the ones that you do get them on, that's just like some faraway light that's moving weird, and it could be a lot of things. But I want to believe.
Yeah, I mean, there've been like multiple times where, the Air Force and Navy has called SpaceX and said they think they've seen aliens, and we're like, was it at this time on this date in this location? They're like, yes. How do you know? That's us.
Well, there's been a lot of
That's
that.
our satellites. Those are our satellites.
That's very interesting. That they call and they say, we think we've seen something, and then they just go, that's us. And they don't have to explain it to the Navy or anybody. They just go, yeah, that was us. Yep. Bye. I don't know, man. Elon Musk's answer, again, it's exactly how you think it would be, the way that he is answering all of this, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, just the fact that he says, I think I'd know, like, I think you'd know too. I just don't think he would tell anybody. Listen, I did an episode yesterday where he was talking about the threats that have been going on towards him and how bad it's gotten, how much it's ramped up. And he even said a line in that episode where he said, if I completely destroy the corruption, like altogether, he's like, they will take me out. Like, just a for sure statement. So what would happen to him if he leaked all of the potential knowledge that he has in regards to UAPs, aliens, whether it's aliens or some kind of technology that we don't know about? What would happen to him then? Probably the same thing, I would think. I don't know. And then on top of that, he says, I don't think so in regards to drones. I mean, he's talking about drone technology. He's just saying, I don't think so. But why? Why don't you think so in regards to drones? Why couldn't it be a drone that goes so fast that a person couldn't be in it or shouldn't be in it, and it's just controlled by something else? That's just not possible? I don't think so. That has to be possible. Maybe not to the degree that they're talking about of, speed of light and all that stuff. I have no idea where they're at in the whole technology thing. And I don't think they would want any of us to really know, because then we would want it. And then we would start questioning things more and more and more. But I don't know. I don't know. And then on the top of that, he says, maybe it's just a boring world where UFOs don't exist. I think it's an impossible world where UFOs don't exist. I don't think that's possible. I think it's just as silly as if somebody was right now in the desert and they've been lost in the desert and they've been there for years and they set up camp and everything. And they're like, there's nobody else here. It's just us here. And it's like just for 4 of them. And they're like, there's no one else. Do you see anyone else? I don't see anyone else. I mean, sometimes I hear things, but I've never seen anything. I need a high-res picture of another person before I really believe that whole thing. I don't know about that. I think he's involved. He talks to the defense view. He talks to the people who are building these technologies. So I don't think he's at liberty to say. And honestly, if I was working on that type of thing, I wouldn't say either, right? If it messes up everything And then he says SpaceX owns 90% of the market share. You know, why wouldn't they defeat SpaceX? Well, here's the thing. Why would they want to? You know, maybe their goal isn't to make money and have a company. Maybe their goal's not like his, where he wants to have everybody go to Mars. Maybe that's not their goal. So maybe if they're not running the same race as Elon, why would they just jump in and start running that race alongside of him? Maybe that's not what they're training for. You know, it's just the combination of how big the universe is that we know about. And then on top of that, you take the fact that there are actually black budget things. There are things with everything that we've seen in the past few weeks. It's not all greed, you know? And I know some people get mad when I say that. It's not all greed. Some of it is just, it's going to this thing, and we can't put that thing on paper for everybody to see. We can't have thousands of government employees knowing about this thing, where this money's going. No, we can't do that. There is that. That is a thing. You know, they're called black budget. It's a thing that happens. And I'm sure, you know, not all, well, I was going to say, I'm sure the black budget thing, it's not going towards any greed, you know, possibly, I don't know. But it goes towards things like what Joe's talking about, the development of technology. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? If you have access to, I don't know how many $1 trillion that the whole thing has access to, it's not all weird things like, you know, let's do this in Cambodia and this in India and this in Pakistan. Some of it's just like, okay, we gotta make a plane that actually is invisible, not stealth, not undetectable. We're making something invisible here, boys. It's gonna take a lot of money. There's that's going on. So, and the thing is, when it comes to black budgets, it's undeniable. Those actually exist. We know that the size of the universe, from what we know, if we believe what we've been told, we know the size of the universe is tremendous. And again, if you believe everything, then you know that there's galaxies and there's planets. So it becomes so hard to say that, because this is Elon on both sides. No to aliens and no to anybody working on any technology that he doesn't know about. That doesn't add up. And then on top of that, Elon is tremendously smart. My deductive reasoning skills tell me that he probably does know something and he's not at liberty to say. And he's not doing it with Joe Rogan, you know? Joe Rogan got him once. He got him once, like, hey, man, you want to smoke this thing with me? Here, try it. He got him once. But Elon's like, I'm a part of the administration now. You're not catching me off guard, buddy, okay? I'm not telling you anything. We're still friends. Well, I'm not telling you much, okay? I'm under enough stress. I'm under enough threats. We're not going to that point. And, you know, I guess you got to respect it. I mean, what can you do? What would you do in that position? Let me know what you would do in Elon's position. If we go under the premise that he actually knows, what would you do? Would you let everybody know, or would you just keep on keeping on? Well, what would you do? I have no idea what I would do in that situation. I think you'd want to tell people. That's why I think he's every now and then when Elon's answering, he's like, yeah. I think, you know, you'd want to tell people, but I think you know that you couldn't, you know? I don't know, man. But me, myself, I'm like Rogan. I want to believe, and I just see, again, size of the universe, it makes it impossible not to believe. But going back to the first part of the whole thing, I don't believe not one person that Rogan's had on his podcast. None of them. Exactly what he said. He said it perfectly. They're like a flat piece of paper. And that's why he brought up the whole thing between his friend and the grizzly bear and the people telling you about alien experiences. Because the guy with the black bear experience, he's like, and then all of a sudden, and it's coming at us, and I don't know what to go, and this guy's flying this way, and then all of a sudden I'm on top of it, and I'm like, oh my God. And then the guy who's telling you about an alien with no ears coming up to him, he's like, and then it walked up to me, and I noticed it didn't have any ears. Now, I didn't ask about that, but the next thing you know, we're having a conversation in our minds. How would you have that conversation if you had that experience? If you had that experience under your belt, would you just be like, and then he had no ears? I've had encounters at a convenience store that I would be more excited about. If I had an encounter where I'd be like, bro, dude had no ears. That's how I'd start the conversation with you. I'd be like, bro, dude had no ears. And you'd be like, what? And I'd be like, bro, this guy was like whitish, purplish. He had a hat on, clean clothes, no ears on him. Then he starts talking to me, but he's not using his mouth. I'd be going nuts. This guy's just like, no ears. And his buddy's beside him like, yeah, they're telepaths sometimes. What? Oh, I saw this report, and Grush. I know some of you guys really believe Grush. I know he's like whistleblower Jesus to some people. I get it. I saw this report, and I can tell you for sure there's biologics. Can you tell us about the biologics? I actually can't. I want to go through the proper channels. Okay. I'm a whistleblower, and I still work for the company. So I just want to do right by them. Okay. Tell that to Edward Snowden. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, going back to that dude with no ears. Because that's the craziest story. Somebody in the comments when I covered that, they were like, bro looks like, what is it? Squidward? Handsome Squidward? That's exactly what he looked like. He looked like a Chad. Had a thick neck on him. You know? He looked like he was D's. Been deadlifting spacecrafts. Just deadlifting uranium, you know? And then I noticed that the gentleman had no ears. I said, peculiar. Let me go deeper. What? I'd have a heart attack. I would walk up to you, and before I said anything, I'd throw up on your stomach, okay? And you'd be like, bro, why did you just do that? I'd be like, I just saw a guy. Oh, he had start crying. He had no ears, and he was in my mind. I'd be broken. What? And I tell you about it for the next 50 years, and I'd never be calm again. Resting heart rate at 120 for the rest of my life. Get out of here. Anyways, guys, as you can tell, I don't believe the whistleblowers either. Hope you enjoyed that one. But what do you think about Elon Musk's answer? I'm not really buying it. I think he knows stuff. I think he's a part of the administration. I think before that, he has legit contracts with NASA. He has legit contracts with defense contractors and all people who are developing all sorts of technology. I just think, even aside from what Joe Rogan's talking about, the advanced stuff, he can't even talk about what's actually happening. Because obviously they're working on stuff. He can't even talk about that, let alone talk about some advanced stuff that Rogan's trying to touch on there. So, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and if you have no ears, stay away from me, because I'm telling everybody, okay? With my eyes like this, I'm telling everybody. Turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.